I leaned into to his ear and I said, no, I cannot say that. I cannot say.
Where would you like to begin?
So I've been telling everybody that I'm trying to be a vegetarian, but I actually I just came from McDonald's and so I broke it. It's been like 5 days, me being a new vegetarian, but I'll jump back on the wagon. I will. I'm just it's very hard because vegetables, they just taste like dirt to me. But they say it's healthier, so I'll you know I'll try to get back on that.
What about you do you think people don't really see or know?
Okay, so I guess, so I just got out of the military, and the way I am, how I act and everything, I guess people wouldn't really associate me as like the military type. I don't know, maybe because I guess maybe you don't really see like flamboyant types, that are gay in the military. But even when I joined the military, people were completely in shock because my family and friends, because they were like, oh, we would have thought you would have been like a fashion editor or something like that. So it was very out of the box when my friends thought about me going in the Navy. But I just thought about that out of all the branches. I looked at all their uniforms and I was like, you know what? I could totally pull off that sailor look. And, next thing you know, I decided to join the Navy, and that's what happened. So,
What are the biggest risks you've taken in your life?
so I definitely been skydiving, and my friends dragged me into it. It's not something I thought about doing my whole life. But they said, oh, we're in Wisconsin, might as well check it out. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll do it. I definitely read, you know, how is a possibility of death. And then I'm like, you know what? YOLO. I know they don't still say that, but I do. And I went skydiving and I was having, first of all, I didn't know every time, the higher you go, we were in the small aircraft going up. I didn't know the higher you go up, the colder it gets. So the higher we were going, I was like freezing. It's summertime, so it's unexpected. I'm wearing a tank top. It's so cold. My nipples are so hard. They're just like sticking right out. And then we get up there, and oh my God. So it's a couple of us, and the instructor, oh, Lord have mercy. He was gassy. So here I am up there. I have to smell your flatulence. I'm just ready to be thrown off the plane because, like, get me out of here. We, anyway, you know, the time comes, jump out the plane. And first of all, I completely forgot I was chewing gum. So I almost choked on my own gum, and the gum was gone, somewhere below the depths, and that harness was so tight. Oh my God, it was not good. It definitely gave me like a wedgie, and everything. It is true what they say. Everything literally looks really tiny. Like the cars look like little Hot Wheel cars. Trees look like bushes. But when I was up there, okay, I looked around and I don't know, it wasn't exciting. I was just ready to, land on the ground. I don't know, there's something more of a roller coaster that's more exciting. Maybe it's all the twists and turns, but long story short, I would never go skydiving again. It just didn't do anything for me. So,
How much about you could I find out if I were to look online?
I'm definitely a selfie whore. I take a lot of pictures. I like to document like what I've been up to. Online, I'm a good boy, so there's definitely you wouldn't see anything crazy. Let's just say that. But on Snapchat, you might see me like, flash a tit or so, but that's about it.
Is there anything on there that you wish would disappear?
Online? No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, I even have a picture of my ass, and you could see a tattoo of lips on it. So I don't think I put anything crazy. And if I did do any nudes, my face is never in them, and you don't see none of my tattoos. So first of all, so I don't do full frontal. I don't do that. But if I were to show you if I were to moon you in a photo, you'll see the ass cheek that doesn't have the tattoo on it. So I don't think there's anything, no, that's crazy, too crazy.
What in your life right now do you feel guilty about?
I went to school, and I started December, and I told, everybody thinks I'm still in school, and I dropped out. And it's because mostly it's just what I was learning was not for me, and I just wasn't having fun every day. I was just like dying of boredom, and I just left. So I feel like, it's something I haven't told my family yet, and it's because I just don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear their lecture, and I just the reason why I haven't told them is I don't want to look like a quitter, because I mean sometimes I firmly believe if you should at least try something to see if you like it or not. That's the most recent guilt trip I've been going on right now. Yeah.
Tell me about a time when you got back at somebody.
Oh my God. So, I'm definitely a baker. I love baking things. That's something I've always been good at, making cake. Somebody kept eating my snickerdoodle cookies. I don't know who the heck has been doing it, but I just wasn't having it. So I made myself a fresh batch of snickerdoodles. Touch of cinnamon, a little nutmeg, and some laxatives. Next thing you know, I found out exactly who's been eating my cookies. So don't eat my cookies. And that's what I have to say about that.
What's your dancing style? Can you show me some of your favorite moves?
Oh my God, I can't. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do a little twerking. And yeah.
Are you happy with your sex life?
So I'm actually a virgin. I know it's hard to believe because, I'm 25. But the thing is, there have been plenty of times where I almost lost it. But I don't know. I'm waiting for my Nick Jonas, and I can't just go with like any random person I just met at the club. I can't do that. I almost lost it once at a construction site, actually. But because I wanted to have like a story, an interesting story when I lost my virginity. So I was gonna, we were at a construction site. There was a lot of lubricant involved. That's when I learned if you have lube, you should probably, bring a lot of napkins with you. And his back door just wouldn't open. And I said, maybe this is a sign that I shouldn't be doing this here, shouldn't be doing it now. And that's definitely, so I didn't go through with that. A lot of times, some people, when they find out, oh, I'm a virgin, they want to be like, that kind of turns them on, and they want to have like sex with me, and I'm like, I don't know, they kind of put me in the spot because I'm like, oh my God, you're hot, but I'm not really, I don't know if I'm about that life just now. I went with my friend, we went to go get salads, and I know who just grabs salad with a friend, but we went to do that, new year, new us, trying to go on that healthy grind. She must be psychic. She brought up the subject out of nowhere about virginity. And I said, it's funny you mention it. I was just going to meet up with somebody right after we finished eating. And she was like, well, how long have you known this person? And I'm like, not long. She's like, you waited all this time and you're just going to lose it to somebody you don't really know. And I'm like, you're right. So I didn't do it. But that doesn't mean just because I haven't had sex, that doesn't mean I haven't had oral sex. That has happened.
Tell me more about that.
Let me see. So there was a situation where I was actually, where were we? This was in Seattle. One thing I like about Seattle, so I'm really into white chocolate. By white chocolate, I mean I really like white boys. I don't know what it is about white boys, but for the longest, I've always remembered having a thing for them. My first kiss wasn't with a white boy. It was with a Dominican. I thought he was white, but he was just one of those light-skinned Dominicans. He was emo, and that day I was feeling emo sexual, and I was really feeling him, and he had like the black hair, and he was like, "Come to the dark side. We have cookies," and I'm like, "Oh my God, I guess." So we kissed. I know it was nothing for him, but for me it was different because it was my first kiss with a guy, and like in the movies, the sparks just flew. It was one of those moments, like when you kiss somebody and then your foot kicks up in the air. So it's definitely that. I had that moment. But back to the Seattle. So luckily, that city is in abundance with white boys. They're just everywhere. So anyway, I'm in the club doing, my thing. Anyway, I could see he's giving me the eye. So I'm like, what's up? And we started dancing, but he couldn't dance for the life of him. It was very much, he was practically dry humping me. Somehow that turned me on. I don't know. Anyway, he... oh my God, that's so not me. But because I swear to you, I don't do this at all. It's that night I was feeling like a thought, like THOT, thought. And if you don't know what that is, that's that hoe over there. That's what that stands for. And I leaned into his ear and I said, no, I cannot say that. I cannot say. I leaned into his ear and I said, you should let me give you a blowjob. And he's like, oh, do you want to fuck? And I'm like, in my head, whoa, first of all, I don't do that. But, I don't just go announcing it to everyone. So I was like, so where do you live? And he says somewhere, I don't know where the heck he lives. Anyway, he was totally my type, the blonde, shaggy hair, looked like a musician, and he looked really good. But he's like, oh, why don't I go to your place? First of all, I lived on, nowhere near where we were at, and it's not like I could drive there because I don't know how to drive. I'm from New York. We take the trains everywhere. And my friend drove me to this club, first of all. And you cannot, rule number one, if you're going with somebody to the club, you don't just ditch them, just because you're with some hot person. So anyway, what ended up happening was I go to my friend, and I know my friend wasn't gonna expect anything because I don't do things like this, and I'm very much a good boy most of the time. And I go to my friend. I'm like, oh, I need to go get something from the car. And he was like, oh, do you know where the car is parked? And I'm like, yeah. My friend gives me the keys. I go to my friend's car with the guy. And let's just say, thank God my friend had tinted windows. And that was an interesting night for sure. I don't really tell people that because it's not really me. I'm not that type of person. I'm always like a goody two shoes. So that's a very rare moment. And that night I had a lot of prosecco. So that probably had, definitely took effect. Also, there's this drink called the AMF and a trash can. Those drinks, they really, if you're trying to turn up, that's what you get. And long story short, that night, the next day, oh my God, the next day, I didn't know what was going on because I woke up like, so definitely, that's that. Well, I hope that answered your question.
What do you miss about being younger?
Oh my God. Um, it would have to be. So I always said, um, if I was to be bitten by a vampire, I would like to be stuck at the age of 18. People always say, "Oh, you're not, that's not even old enough to drink." Number one, you don't need alcohol to have fun. So, 18 for a couple reasons. I feel like when I was 18, everything was just like, it was smooth sailing. I didn't really have too many worries to deal with. I was focusing on just like having fun. So it's definitely different when you get older because you have more responsibilities. Um, Also, at 18, oh my God, my father, oh, it doesn't actually, no, I found out the gene doesn't come from your father, it comes from your mother's. So that was a shock when I did research. But once I turned 19, oh my God, I started losing my hair. So I had to, once I turned 19, shave my head all the time. So definitely, I got that Vin Diesel look minus the body. I always have to shave my head. So before that situation where I was forced to shave my head, one regret is I wish I had the insight that I knew I was gonna lose my hair, so I would have dyed my hair like throughout years because I never dyed my hair once, and my fear was I think it had to do with I didn't you know how some people look at you crazy if you have like a crazy hair color. At the time, I really cared what people thought about me. So even though I wanted to dye my hair blue, I didn't do it. So that's like one of my greatest regrets. I also wanted to dye my hair definitely Lindsay Lohan red, and I could have, pretended to be like from Parent Trap, but that's never gonna happen. And I learned to live with it.
Before we stop, I'd like to ask, what's your biggest secret?
I eat ice cream in bed. That's my biggest secret. I'm trying to go vegan, straight up vegan, but there are steps, definitely steps to that. And the first step is being a vegetarian, and then eventually cutting off dairy and any products from animals. So the only reason why I want to go that route, even though I wasn't raised, that way, these crazy videos you see on the internet. And it's like, you know what? I went to a Vans Warped Tour. They had this van and they were like, oh, we'll give you $1 if you see this 5-minute video. And that video just broke my heart of all those animals. And I'm like, you know what? I think it's time to reevaluate myself. And do I really need to eat that? Maybe not. But then again, I got a coupon from Omaha Steaks. And, I'm thinking, oh my God, what about that nice ribeye? Everybody and their mother always talks about Omaha, Nebraska, how famous they are for their steaks. So definitely, I might have to secretly order them and just let nobody know about it. But I swear to you, I will be a vegetarian. And that is my goal.
I learned more about being human.
Well, thank you for everything. And I'm glad I was able to help you.
Maybe one day I'll know you better than you know yourself. Goodbye.
Bye.